All right, let's see. What is my low for today? Um, well, anything bad happened yesterday? Not really. Um, you know what? It's actually been really, really cold lately. So you know what? I'll just say yesterday was a particularly cold day. Although unfortunately, it was one of those days where it was cold, but at first glance, you wouldn't have been able to tell because it was actually really sunny out. You know, not really that cloudy, bright blue sky. Seriously, like, honestly, it'd be a nice day if just when the fact it was cold out. Like, unfortunately, like, honestly, to put things in perspective, like, this morning I ran out to my car for something, and I'm like, woo, this is quite cool outside. Like, there's actually frost on the ground. You know what? I'll actually take that back. My low is the fact that it actually did, in fact, snow. Oh, nothing stuck. Not at all. But it snowed. Winter is coming. I'm not looking forward to that at all. Anyway, um, my high is the fact that I did get a lot of stuff done, and I got to talk with my father for a little bit yesterday. That was very nice. And my act of kindness was I got to help someone carry some stuff, which was also very nice. Anyway, good morning, happy Friday, everyone. I've actually been kind of avoiding talking about this just simply because it does bother me a little bit. But this will be the last weekend Rita's is open, which means this will be the last Friday of 2021. I will be getting Rita's. Oh, yeah, I'm sad. But, I mean, I knew it was going to happen anyway. I mean, I just literally got over, like, not having to go to Cuca Lake anymore. And well, I say having to go. I got to go to Cuca Lake is what I meant to say. Because I love going to Cuca Lake. But it's just one of those things where, time of year dictates that, I can't do it anymore. It's not permanent, though, but, it's still kind of sad. And the fact that stuff like not going to Cuca Lake, or in this case, Rita's being closed for the winter, makes it all the more depressing when you realize that it is winter. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great stuff to look forward to this winter. I am looking forward to it. The holidays, my birthday, stuff like that. But the rest of the time, we just pay attention to, the cold weather, the snow, ice, days are shorter. I could go on and on, but I don't want to get into that. This is actually, don't get me wrong, change isn't necessarily good. In fact, we're in the season of autumn. We're in fall. Like, change is everywhere. And yeah, we all know the tried and true story, change isn't always good. And trust me, when we get to winter, those changes will be even more substantial. Again, in terms of, weather and how we go about our day. But it's still a time of renewal. You can still look at it as like a good thing. At least I've always, tried to do that anyway. And yeah, I will admit sometimes it is what I call naive optimism or blissful unawareness, I guess. But I like to think it helps. So, how about I cheer myself up a little bit and cheer us all up a little bit by talking about what happened yesterday, which was we had a new episode of Hot Ones yesterday with Salma Hayek, which, I don't know why I expected anything truly awful. Not that I did. Salma Hayek even said, I'm Mexican. I can handle this stuff. And she did. Yeah, she got to the bomb and she obviously didn't like it. But, up until she got to the bomb, she was fine. Like, really fine. And I love how at the end of the episode, just because Sean Evans has been doing it for so long, Salma Hayek made her an honorary Mexican, which I want to be an honorary Mexican myself. I want to do that. I would like to get that sort of validation from Salma Hayek. But again, I mean, let's be honest, Salma Hayek is one of my all-time crushes. I mean, why? I mean, of course I would want that validation. That'd be awesome. I mean, okay, seriously, if no one ever had a crush on Salma Hayek, I'll be shocked. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, people like different, people have different preferences as to who they like. Just because I like Salma Hayek doesn't mean you have to. It's different. It's completely coincidental. Or incidental. I don't know. But this is actually a really good episode, and I learned a lot about not just Salma Hayek herself, but her life in general. Like she's been a big fan of diving ever since she was like a little kid. She's been diving since she was a little kid. She's gone straight up truffle hunting with dogs, which, even though I will admit, here's the thing. I love at the end of that portion where Sean and Salma Hayek talk about how they like truffles. I'm like, here's the thing. As a foodie, truffles really are one of those things that I do have to get around to trying. But I am not remotely in a hurry to do so. Because for those of you who don't know, not only are truffles very hard to find, they are, as Mr. Dink from Doug would say, very expensive. Seriously, like, the black truffle goes for like, I'm going to look at going market price for a black truffle. Okay, so per ounce, the cheapest kind of truffle you can find is the really? The Chinese black truffle only goes for $5.13 an ounce? Okay, I didn't really specify what type of black truffle I was looking for, because there's like a whole list there's like the winter black truffle, the burgundy black truffle, the summer black truffle, the Chinese black truffle. Okay. The Italian, never mind. Yeah. So, the cheapest winter black truffle, the cheapest black truffle is the Chinese truffle that apparently goes for $5.13 an ounce, which that's actually surprisingly cheap. That's actually cheaper than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, there's like the winter black truffle, which is like $20.49 an ounce. The summer black truffle, which is $22.57 an ounce, and the burgundy black truffle, which is $24.93 per ounce. Oh yeah, those are all expensive, because again, that's by the ounce. That's nothing compared to the Italian white truffle. $211.64 per ounce. So now you see why I really have no interest in trying truffles. I mean, do I want to? Well, yeah. I'm a foodie. Of course I want to try it. But I'm in no hurry to do so. And those price points should tell you why. And it makes sense that they are expensive. I mean, they are incredibly hard to find. If you actually want to try and farm and grow them, the conditions needed are borderline impossible to figure out. There's a reason why they are expensive. But again, I have no interest in wanting to have them. So, I'm just going to say I don't want them. Well, what about stuff like truffle oil? Well, yeah, stuff like that does exist, or truffle salt, or truffle oil, or actually, let me go back to the list. Like truffle butter. Truffle hot sauce? What the? Really? Okay. Well, the point is, yeah, that stuff does exist, but here's the thing. That stuff could potentially be made with something fake. And you do not want to run that risk. And neither do I. So, what else do they talk about on Hot Ones? Well, they also, another thing I really did learn about Salma from Salma Hayek is, and this is actually something that Sean Evans did bring up, and that's, there are so many, like, Hollywood scripts and screenplays that to this day are, like, stored underneath, like, the desks of big Hollywood executive studios. And, Sean wanted to know, like, why that is. And Selma was able to explain how, for one thing, you need to understand, making a movie, like, when you have, like, having a script or a screenplay is, like, one of the first things to have to make a movie. Like, yeah, the idea, that is obviously the very first step, but one of the first steps after that is, writing the script and the screenplay, what happens, the details involved, stuff like that. So, you have to hire writers, you have to hire directors, you have to hire, costume people, makeup people, production teams, getting the locations. Basically, you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably already millions of dollars, to make this movie happen, and you haven't even started filming yet. And on top of all that, Salma Hayek mentioned that way back then, because remember, Hollywood, for the most part, was run by dominant white males. So if you were a person of minority, you really couldn't do anything. It was almost a complete miracle at that time if you were a minority and you had, like, a script or a screenplay written to show to the world. Because that is literally what would happen. So, don't get me wrong, it's a lot better now, for sure. But there are still lots of scripts, whether you are a minority or a non-minority, that are written, that are, tucked away under, the desks of, Hollywood executive studios, because, again, the funding's not there, the right people aren't around to do it, stuff like that. Making a movie is easily, any filmmaker or even a fanboy will tell you, making a film is incredibly hard to do. Very hard to do. It's honestly one of the reasons why I'm not really a writer. Don't get me wrong, I have much respect for those who do. Like, if you're a writer, or you make a living doing that stuff, bravo. Like, you are better off than I am, I assure you. But there's a reason why. Because it can be hard to make a living with that sort of thing. That's why, for now, I'd rather just keep myself where I am. If I was ever offered to do something, sure, I would. But, I'd still want to make sure that I have saying what I want, too. And that's another thing. You have to make sure you have your say in what's going on. Because you'd be surprised how much and how often Hollywood executive studios, mess with, people's visions. You don't want that. All in all, it was a very good, interesting episode of Hot Ones. So, thank you, Salma Hayek. You are still beautiful, and I am still a fan. You were great in Frida, and I will admit, you were really hot in Wild Wild West. Horrible movie, but you were awesome in it. Anyway, what else happened? You know what? I'm going to add another thing in my high, too. It's that Totally Not Mark came out with another Berzerk video in which, here's the thing with Berzerk, there really is no manga for him to, for his editors to, make clips off of. That's why there aren't really many Berzerk videos as of late. There's a lot of Naruto stuff, but beside that. But another thing I saw yesterday, outside of Totally Not Mark, which Totally Not Mark, you are awesome, is another one. Now, yeah, I know Watch Mojo kind of gets a bad rap for, doing top 10s that may or not be accurate or true. But this one was different because it was a top 10 Pinky and the Brain moments featuring Maurice LaMarche and Rob Paulson, a.k.a. the voices of Pinky and the Brain themselves. So I'll put a link that in the description down below. Trust me. This was good. Anyway, I should probably get on with my day. Like, favorite, share, this, subscribe, and follow me on social platforms on YouTube. I'm very hungry, so video for all of you guys watching the show for today. Will be a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Remember, time show always be here to learn English. I'll be back. Take care and make good choices. Have a nice day.